Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to BJ and Bill, the podcast, a part of the Podcast Playground Network. Please give us that 5-star review. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And of course, follow us on Facebook, BJ and Bill, the podcast. And you can always email us, BJ and Bill, the podcast at gmail.com, as we welcome you to episode 132.
Woo-hoo. Thank you. Thank you very much. Recording a little bit late today. BJ had doctor's appointments and Costco shopping and all kinds of craziness today. But it's still, we're recording this on the Monday. And so you won't notice any difference. You being the listeners. It's all good.
Now, they can't see us either, but we do this on Zoom.
Yes.
If I was there, I would pinch you right now because you are not wearing green.
I am not wearing green. I'm wearing my Gator. I'm wearing a Gator t-shirt. I'm not Irish. I've never been Irish. No part of me or my family is Irish. I know on St. Patrick's Day, everybody's Irish. And honestly, to look at you, BJ Odom, that looks a little more, shall we say, limey than it does green.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a lime green, a bright lime green to be exact.
Yeah, it's not Irish green. I can go change if you want, but it won't matter. It's okay.
It won't matter. But,
no, I'm fine.
Now, today I was good because I went to the doctor beforehand.
Yes.
But now my wife, she will have some green poop tomorrow.
Oh, she had a couple of green beers?
Yeah.
I remember, boy, this is set the Wayback Machine for BJ and Bill days at the Crown Lounge at some particular St. Patrick's Day, drinking large amounts of green beer. Large amounts. And peeing out green beer for hours afterwards. Hours. So yeah, it was kind of gross. Kind of gross.
The first time I ever went to St. Patrick's Day and enjoyed green beer, I did the same thing. I went to the restroom.
Yes.
And the number 1 and the number 2, they were both green. I go, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I have green poop.
Yeah, the things we do for, I was going to say the things we do for love, but that's a 10cc song. The things we do for holidays.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So hopefully, if you had your green beer today, hopefully not too much. Of course, I shouldn't say today, because as you hear this, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
So if you're just now recovering, you probably had a little too much green beer. So
yeah, go check it out. See if it's still green.
Yeah. All right, that's just, apparently we're off to a green start this morning. And then and BJ Odom is reporting to me on his doctor's appointments this morning. You are like a medical textbook. You are like, you have stuff happening to you that they'll probably, well, I'm sure they already are, making like, you'll be a class in somebody's medical school. You know, the life and times of BJ Odom.
I'm getting to the point now. It's like, just shoot me now.
Right.
Well, I knew I had a hernia because I've had one before, one in the groin. And so I went to get it checked by the surgeon today.
Mm-hmm.
And just to prove that I am the luckiest man alive, not only did he find one in my groin, but a little bit over to the left is my implanted kidney because I have a kidney transplant.
Right.
And right kind of below that is a second one.
Hernia, that is, not kidney.
No, just one kidney, but 2 hernias.
Right.
Some people have 2 kidneys. No, I have 2 hernias at the present time.
I hear you. I'd rather not hear all the details, but we're going to get them anyway, so we might as well get to this. Now, you did You were good enough to either have it written down or to tell me what it was before. And so we did. We relied on Mr. Google to give us some information. And one of them, it appears, is because it's in inter something or other, but it's happens at a place where you've had a previous incision, previous surgery, which, like you said, you had the kidney transplant. So obviously they were cutting on you there. So apparently this is something that can happen at the site of a previous incision. And that's what BJ Goodham has. And why am I starting to sound like the medical channel here? Oh my God. So anyway, you're fine. You look fine to me. What the hell? So that's all I know. So you're going to, now is this going to require even more cutting?
Well, I went to a surgeon. I do like the way he worded this because I went to a surgeon here in the Orlando, Claremont area.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that you don't want too many chefs in the kitchen. Those were his words, not mine, my friends. You don't want too many chefs in the kitchen. And he says, I think you need to, well, he didn't say this, but he goes, you need to go to your original kitchen, which is Tampa General, and let them do it there. And you need to get a hold of your transplant team and they need to figure this out. So he probably got, who knows what insurance, what he billed my insurance or,
Right.
basically a tug here, a push there.
His Lexus payment is made for the month. He's good. He's good. Yeah.
But I'll do it. What the hell? We've done some grosser things on this podcast. So he pushes the one in the groin and he pushes pretty hard. And I heard it go back up into my body.
Ooh. 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 Did it feel weird or different or odd?
It felt weird, but it sounded weirder than it felt.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I've been sitting here all morning drinking coffee, so my tummy is grumbling. So I hear some weird sounds, but not like body parts making sounds.
Yeah, it's
so,
like a squish. Like
a squish.
Squish. Yeah, it was definitely a squish. A squish and a whoosh. Squish whoosh.
So at that point, he made the decision, which sounds good. I mean, that's good. I get it. He knows your history. He knows who you are. I mean, we all know who you are. I mean, he knows you have a transplant team and people who know your body every inch inside and out. So he's going to refer you to them, which sounds like a good idea.
Basically what he did, he walked into my kitchen and goes, oh my God, this is disgusting.
This is a mess.
Go to your regular chef. I'm not going to cook in there.
I want no part of this. That makes good sense. That does make good sense. So, okay, good. So, I was going to say, do we have surgery scheduled or that hasn't happened? You haven't called them yet.
I contacted my transplant team via, I have a portal.
Of course you do.
I got on my portal and said, and I wrote the big words that, the doctor told me that I had.
Oh, good. Good.
And he also said you will probably need an MRI just to look at everything down there.
Wow.
So I've sent them a little note saying what the doctor has told me and waiting for your instructions so I can let you cook in my kitchen or I can cook in your kitchen or whatever the hell it is.
Whatever the hell it is.
I'm on a diet and I'm tired of all this cooking in my kitchen. I don't want no more cooking in the kitchen.
I get it. It's every week you come in to this show with yet another head scratcher of a story, another story that's got the rest of us going, oh my God. So yeah, it's all right. Good for you. We're glad that, again, you are in good hands and being taken care of.
So, well, we will have further details as they become available. Bulletins at once.
I worked for way before BJ and Bill. When I was in Phoenix, I worked at a news talk radio station, and that was literally our outro for the newscast. I'm Bill Stevens. KFYI News. Bulletins at once, news every hour on the talk station, 910 KFYI. Oh, and I still remember it. That is so good.
I remember a lot of my taglines, but the one I remember most,
Right?
before coming to Florida, I worked at oh, I'll turn that off. Yeah, there we go. I got a little timer set for us to take a commercial break, but I'll do this because I worked at like an easy listening station, but it was right at the Northwest Indiana, like almost border where we were bordering Chicago and our signal got into Chicago. But I was more or less that was Ronnie and Teicher. Before that, we heard from, it was one of those, like
Yeah. Oh, sure.
beautiful
Paul
music.
Marriott.
Oh yeah. All those were there and available.
That was my father.
And I would like back announce them. And, it was WFLM in Crown Point, Indiana. So I would back announce them and then I'd go, we'll have more coming up next or whatever, or maybe read a little promotion message or something like that. And then I'd play another 3 or 4 songs in a row and be all over again. Well, at night from 10, and they got giant ratings, even in Chicago. But from 10 p.m. at night till 5 a.m. in the morning, they went album-oriented rock.
A beautiful music station?
Oh, yeah, beautiful music. And
just flip the switch. Just flip the switch at 10 o'clock.
What the owner did, he leased out the radio station from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Okay.
And it was called Night Rock. Brought to you by Hegwish Records. And Hegwish Records is big in the Chicagoland area.
Okay.
So you're listening to Night Rock.
Night Rock.
Brought to you by Hegwish Records on FM 104.
Wow. I've heard of radio stations leasing out, renting the time by the hour or the day or the whatever, but never with a change of format like that. That's amazing. That's so cool.
And so every once in a while, the guy that ran it would be short, somebody'd be sick or something. And we got to know each other. He was kind of a cool dude. And he'd say, call me up. Brian Thomas, by the way. I was Brian Thomas.
Of course you were.
I have a son named Gentry Thomas. I was Brian Thomas.
Of course you do.
And every once in a while I would do like, I think they did 10 to 2 and then like 2 to 5. And I think on the weekends they went till 6 a.m.
Wow.
And I would every once in a while do that 2 to 6 shift.
Wow.
If you had someone sick.
Overnight.
Oh yeah. It was, but to me, that was like, wow.
Oh, sure.
Hegwish Records.
Oh, you're Johnny Fever at that point. You're Dr. Johnny Fever playing whatever you want. You betcha.
It was like, Ted Nugent and, Pink Floyd.
Yeah. So where
did
did they just have a closet full of records somewhere that they didn't do during the day, but at night they played them? Or
all the music during the day was on tape.
Of course.
And then at night there was this big cabinet. And they'd always come in at 10 o'clock. And the guy that ran Night Rock, unlock it, open it up. Oh my God. And then when nighttime rolled around again, click.
Lock it up.
And he'd walk out the building.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I got one more quick story about my early announcer days. We'll do that when we come back. So I didn't know there was an album rock career for BJ Odom. For Brian Thomas.
Yeah, it didn't last long, and I only would do it like, if someone was sick or someone was on vacation. So I would say I was there probably a year, and I'd say I did it maybe a dozen times.
Okay, that's cool. But
it was fun.
If you really, really, really want to set the Wayback Machine, well, that's probably about the same time because you didn't go to college for 4 years like I did, and you're a little older, so you were probably doing your album rock thing when I was in school, when I was in college, and at Ohio University, it's funny because I had friends going to Ohio State in Columbus. I mean, the giant school, the one you think of when you think Ohio State. And their TV and radio stations, you had to be a grad student. You had to be like top of the whatever to work in the stations and be on the air and do the television stuff and be a cameraman or a director or whatever. And at Ohio University, we were so small, but we had an AM and an FM and a television that served the southeast corner of Ohio. And so they took anybody. I mean, if you were in the radio and TV program, and I was, of course, on the radio in the morning on the public radio station, but then I was also the booth announcer at night. And yes, even the announcements between the shows were done live, which is unheard of course. But my college roommate was the director, was the online director, not, of the. And he would just bring up the different shows and run the promos and the commercials and all of that. And so I would wear an earbud, an ear mask, a earphone rather, and had the monster microphone in front of me like I do now. And I had a notebook of all the announcements and all the station IDs from 5 seconds to 30 seconds. So if the show ended with 24 seconds to go, he would whisper in my ear, "Bill, we're going to need a 20-second ID coming up in 3, 2, and I would flip the page, and then it would always WOUB, Athens, Ohio, and WOUC TV, Cambridge, Ohio, broadcast services of the Ohio University telecommunications system." And he would whisper in my ear, "Bill, what time is it?" And I would go, "It's 10 o'clock." And the show would start at 10 o'clock. And that was the most fun I had. But that was because basically you did nothing for a half an hour until the show was over, and then you did another quick announcement, and then you did another whatever. So it was great.
Now, was you on the air at the same time too, and you would come in and do that, or you just?
Well, no, that was
one
at
job?
night. I was usually I didn't always do the morning show, but usually I did the morning on the AM public radio station. They had. What do they call it? It's not All Things Considered, but it was morning edition. So I would just do the local news and a couple of breaks in and around the morning edition show on NPR. And that was when I was an NPR fan. Now, not so much. And then at night, I didn't do all the shifts, but a couple, 3 times a week, I would do a booth announcing shift as well. But that was prime time at night from like 8 or 7 till 11. And we did a local newscast at 10 o'clock every night. So we did the 10 o'clock, News Watch or whatever the hell it was. And so, yeah, it was. In fact, for those of you who remember your CNN, one of the first guys that CNN ever hired was this kid with this amazing TV voice. And I can't remember his name now. But he did the news at WOUB, and I would be the announcer for him. So I would announce his name, and it'll come to me before the end of the show, but I'll get to it later. So
yeah, Don Nelson was the guy at Night Rock, and he went on to work Chicago radio and worked, album-oriented rock most of his life. And then towards the end of his career, he did like traffic or Metro Traffic or whatever out of Chicago. So he was like on all the Chicago stations. Don Nelson. All
right, now it's going to fry me. I'm going to have to think. All right, so just keep talking. I'm going to go over to Google. I'm going to plug into Google. I'm going to go original. Let's see if I say original CNN anchors and reporters.
Now, when I went to Wink for the first time,
right?
That's back in the day where, they owned though they still do. They have the TV station, and they had an AM, FM. And what they would do, though, I wouldn't have to sit in a booth. They would bring cartridges, tape cartridges, which, carts, known in the business. But they would bring this big box of carts. I mean, there had to be like 60 carts in there.
Wow.
And each one of them had like Oprah, and it'd say all the different shows. And you would go to, Oprah's guest is blank, blank, blankety, blank, blank. Today at 4 on Wink TV. Right. And I would have to sit there, and, that was the day where you didn't have digital tape. So if you did a mess up, had to find the splice, had to run the whole tape, erase it, and do it again. And I'll bet you there was 60 of those. That was usually about a 2-hour job. But it was like, oh my God, I'm the television announcer for Wink TV. This is like
Right?
awesomeness. But nowadays they hire people from out of market and everything else. But back in the
That's
day,
funny.
tonight at 6 with Lois Tomey.
Right?
It was cool. I mean, I thought I was, I thought, where your britches get too big for your britches. I
Right?
was thinking, oh, I'm big time. I am big time now.
And were you exactly big time? Yes.
Yeah, well, now that I look back, not really, but
Not so much, no.
boy, at the time I was like, and I wanted all of them perfect. That's why it usually took me,
Right.
because I would get off the air at 7 because I did 3 to 7,
Right.
get off the air at 7 and then spend the next hour or two recording, all
Recording the
these
announcements.
cuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would
Yeah.
usually have to do that like twice a week. I wouldn't do them all on the same night. She would bring
Right.
a box of carts down like on a Monday and then carts again on like a Thursday. And yeah,
Right.
you'd record them all. Like I said, then I go home and watch TV and I go, that's me.
That's
I'm on
me.
the TV.
That's me.
I'm over the
Yeah.
TV. I can't believe it.
I'm on the team. So Google came through for me again. The reporter, one of the original international reporters, I mean, he's been in his share of war zones and all that for CNN, was a guy named Martin Savage.
Oh, I
Martin
know.
Savage.
Hell yeah. He worked in Chicago also.
He might have before or after his CNN days. But yeah, he was there. He and I were at Ohio University at the same time. So, and yes, I
Cool.
knew him, and yes, I'm not going to say we were buddies, but yeah,
Maybe
we
we should
hung out.
call him. Maybe we should have. Oh, speaking of guests, I
Yes.
think we have a guest next week.
Oh, tell me more.
Christina? You thought I was going to say Applegate, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Metcalf.
I know you're author, you're ghostwriter.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. That would be
Uh,
terrific.
I asked her if she wanted to, come on the show to meet Bill, who knows almost as much about me as me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Between your son, your wife, and me, it's pretty complete. Yeah.
Yeah. So she thinks it would be fun. So I'm
Awesome.
going to bring her on next week.
I did look her up after you gave me the name a week or so ago, and I looked her up on Amazon, and yeah, she has written her own, books as well. I mean, not just, ghostwriter. She's a regular author. Is that the right word? I don't even know. She's a, author who does her own stories as well. So cool.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
So-
Make that happen, young man. Make that happen.
I sent her an email. She goes, she'd be glad to. I told her what time we usually record on Mondays. And she says, count her done. I said, all right,
Mhm.
have you on.
All right. All right.
Now-
So there you go.
Now, speaking of, let's just go back to our big time days.
Big
'Cause
time days.
I remember this too. And this blew my mind and I couldn't believe I was doing it. Again, we're talking Fort Myers, Florida, which is not a top 50 market at all.
No.
But there were times
No.
that I, and probably you too, and I'm going to ask you if you did you ever have to do any, not voiceovers, 'cause I did plenty of voiceovers for TV, but I got to do a couple TV commercials where I was on the TV. I don't want to brag or nothing, but you could turn on the TV and you go, who is that ugly fool? Why, is that BJ?
Are you talking about in Fort Myers?
Yeah.
I never did any commercials, but I was on several programs. I mean, back in the day of Q96, back in the Q96 days, well before BJ and Bill, I was the host for a couple of years when we were the radio partner of the Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon. So yours truly would be on TV wearing the, full on, whatever. I looked like I was going to a wedding or something and hosting that and interviewing people. So I did that a few years. And then later on, when my then wife, shout out to Miss Paula in Fort Myers still, was at WGCU, the public TV station, she had, I was on a couple of times when they did fundraisers. When they did like they were playing the oldies concert, and then they'd come back to the local and so of course they had yours truly there. I don't know why you weren't with that. That might have been before our time. That might have been me and Paul Conrad time. But
It might
I
have
remember
been.
doing a couple of them by myself. I mean, or with another host from WGCU.
Yeah, I never really got to host the telethon, the Jerry Lewis telethon, but I was on the the phone bank a few times, and they'd come to you and they'd ask you a
Yeah.
couple stupid questions like,
Yeah.
"How's those phones? Oh man, they're ringing, but you could call again."
Right,
So,
right. And I did, yeah, I did the phone bank thing with with Public TV for their fundraiser, their annual fundraiser. I was, and I was like a phone bank captain once where I was the guy walking around behind everybody waving and, and all that stuff. So yeah, it was cool. Whatever. So yeah, that was, nothing super special, amazing, but yeah, it was fun. It's great
I did,
fun. Of course it
I
is.
did I did a few Gulf Coast Dodge commercials. For a while, I was
Cool.
like really tight with the general manager at
Very
Gulf
cool.
Coast Dodge. So I did probably 3 or 4, but one time I was there for just a remote, but they
Right.
did a TV commercial about, the radio station being there for a remote. So I'm going, we're going to have free hot dogs. And people were throwing hot dogs at me, and then with the buns and the hot dogs and free sodas. And it was one of those like, almost like, what they go, wild and crazy commercials where the
Yeah, yeah.
guy screams and shouts and gets stuff,
Yeah.
jumping up and down. It was one of those commercials. I thought that was that was fun. That was a good time.
That was good times. I mean, I did that, and then I mean, when I was in Phoenix, I never did any TV stuff, but you saw me on TV a lot because I was the street reporter for 910 KFYI, the talk station. So so whenever there was Phoenix is the state capital, so whenever there was a press conference or somebody important talking and you're standing on the lawn of the state capitol, it's beautiful, when it wasn't 120 degrees. And of course, all you saw was like arms, like 10 different guys and girls' arms holding microphones. Mine was always one of them. I'm like, oh, there's my hand.
Yeah, I was going to say now. Okay, now you're with your friends, and all of a sudden, one of these news conferences come on. Did you go? That's my hand.
That's my
See that
hand. Yeah, that's my
see that
hand. Oh,
microphone?
sure, of course.
That's me.
And
That's mine.
sometimes, not a lot, but of course, you always have the shot where there's always the panning of the reporters as they stand there waiting for the VIP to show up. I was occasionally, oh, there I am, kind of a thing. But yeah, it was not. But I did really, really, really enjoy my time in Phoenix because, you're again, state capital and things are happening and, you're there as the world is actually unfolding. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm covering some important stuff. That was fun. So
And that's
anyway,
a good sized market too.
Phoenix was oh yeah. Well, it's bigger now, but when I was there, it was top 20. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So cool.
I've worked. I only get to say I work part time at a top 50 market twice.
It's okay. So it's,
That's all.
I didn't make any money doing it, so it's okay. I mean, it's not like I made a ton of money doing it. I didn't. I mean, the most money I ever made was when, BJ and Bill on, doing Oldies 95. So that's fine. Yeah.
Boy, those were the days. That's when I only had when BJ and Bill were on the radio, I only maybe had 10 surgeries at the most under my belt.
Right.
Now I've got like 150 or so. I don't know.
Yeah, look at you. You should get like a NASCAR jacket with patches for all the different, like they all have their own, sponsors and stuff. You could get all the sponsors for all the drug companies and all the medical equipment that you've used. And, you could probably make a good buck doing that. So.
I'm wondering, let's just say, for instance, when early in my life, because,
Yes.
nowadays you look at young kids, young adults, they're tattooed all over the place.
Unfortunately.
So let's say that happened to me, like in my 20s. That's when tattoo, they weren't really popular. But then it was like the ones you did with some Tom, Dick, or Harry down the street would like, hey, let me put a tattoo. And it was like, it was ugly as could be,
Right.
They call them those homemade tattoos. But,
Right.
Some of these guys get some really good art to them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Can you imagine if I would have been born later in life, and that would have been a big deal, and I would have gotten into the whole tattoo thing. And then all of a sudden, nothing would match, nothing would like meet up. They were like, "What the hell is that?" Well, that was a flying eagle, and it had stars on it. And
now it's
no way,
now it looks like mismatched wallpaper.
that was an eagle. How in the hell does anybody get an eagle out of that?
Well, they cut me apart and then they sewed it back together, and it didn't it'd be like, remember, let's set the Wayback Machine. We got to take a break. Let's set the Wayback Machine. Mad Magazine, when you had the folding page on the back that it turned one scene into another scene, that would have been your gut. Your gut would have been a Mad Magazine folding page.
Now, I will say one thing. I've had my rib cage broken open or sprung open. Let me see, in my lifetime. Let me count it. Probably 5 times, maybe 6.
Oh my God. Really?
But I will admit, they pretty well said it was like, follow the dots. Oh, okay. We'll just go right down here like that. And the last time my open heart surgery, my transplant, they used glue. My chest actually looks better than it ever did any of the other surgeries.
You've been super glued back together.
Yeah, I go, oh man, look, because usually you see the little holes where the stitches were.
Right.
I go, that's beautiful, man. Why didn't they do that the first time?
I think if I were you at this point, I might get a tattoo on my chest along the scar that says "zip here to open" or something like that.
Oh, I can only imagine what any of my tattoos would look like if I would have.
Oh my gosh!
In my 20s.
No, never mind. Yeah, no tattoos. I don't. It doesn't appeal to me at all. It does, especially on the ladies. It does not appeal to me at all. Now,
I will admit, I can see some people with some good tattoos and go, "Oh, those are nice," or But the two that I like, the neck tattoos.
Oh my God!
I don't get those, but in my defense, why I think that I stayed away from tattoos.
Look at your neck.
Well, no, I mean anywhere. I've been in the hospital so many times and have been stuck by needles starting when I was a little bitty baby.
Right.
The last thing I want to do is go to this guy that's going to stick me with about 20 million times with a needle, just so I can have a little heart on my chest or, cross or something like.
Again, maybe if you had a tattoo, maybe you just make like a target, aim here with the needle.
Because that's the reason why I thought, why would I go have more needles than I've already had stuck in me? That's the way I looked at it. But now that I'm older, I would think, damn, I haven't said that. Damn, I should have got some tattoos.
Nah, I'm not. I mean, you do what you want. It does nothing.
Oh, I'm not
it
now.
Just doesn't.
I got to get 2 more surgeries. What am I doing anyway? Can you Hey, can you guys tattoo while you're down there, while you're sticking and putting all that? Yeah, can you just put a little tattoo on there? I don't care. You put whatever the hell you want. I don't care. What naked woman? Can you put a naked woman down there? You put some kind of naked woman.
What you should do is put a put a scannable code that takes everybody right to your medical record, kind of a thing. A QR code. That's what it's called. Oh my God. All right, this is hilarious. All right, this is awesome stuff. Let's take a break, and I don't know what we're going to do after this to follow up with this, but we'll think of something. So hang in there. Go refill your coffee. We will be right back. Welcome back. I'm Bill Stevens. That's BJ Odom. This is BJ and Bill, the podcast. And as always, we would love it if you would stop by wherever you pick up your podcasts. Give us that 5-star review. And it doesn't matter, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music. We're on all of them. And just leave your review and all that. And if you'd like to leave a comment or a question or a joke or a picture, surf on over to Facebook and do a search for BJ and Bill podcast, and you will find us there as well. So there you go. So anyway, all good.
Yeah, I
Are we
never.
done with your surgeries? Are we done with that?
Well, until I get them scheduled, and then I'm just thinking though. I wonder, and I shouldn't be thinking this way. Thinking how painful will this be, and how long will the pain last?
Hmm. It's worth a couple of gummies for sure. I'm guessing. Just thinking out loud.
I might beat you in some of those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good.
Now my
I mean, that's
wife's
fine.
getting ready to take a. She does this like a couple times a year now, which I don't
Mm.
mind. But she takes a ladies' vacation with some of
Ooh,
her lady friends.
ooh, and where are they going?
Actually, they're not going anywhere special.
Oh,
They're going to close to where the one lady lives. They're actually going to fly to Chattanooga from Fort Myers, but the lady they're meeting there also lives in Calhoun, Georgia, which isn't far from Chattanooga.
right.
So they're going to go to Chattanooga for a few days, then go down to this lady's house for a couple of days, and then her and one of her friends are going to fly back to Fort Myers. But I think there's going to be like 4 or 5 of them all meet
So,
up.
so that's the story they're telling you.
I would love if it was juicier because I even said, "Come on, I can take it. Tell me what's really going to go on."
Vegas, Nashville, come on.
I'm going. Come on. But
Chattanooga, Tennessee? Seriously?
maybe she's looking for a good country boy. Who knows?
I don't. I do remember touring the Mayfield ice cream factory there in near Chattanooga, and you have some
Oh,
great ice cream samples. It's just my story. That's all I got.
I,
That's all I
I
got.
tell you what. I tell you what. I know there will be probably a lot of wine consumed.
I'm sure.
Of course, the last one was in New Orleans.
Well, come on, and so, that's another good one. That's a
Here-
great one.
Although my wife did not. I mean, she had fun with her friends, but she goes, "I did not want to go to New Orleans." And then we went to the hotel, and the hotel even told us we should be careful. And if we go down to the bar downstairs, which was at the hotel, which was like I don't know, but it was like a rated hotel that was like a nice hotel.
Right?
But if you go down to the hotel bar, you should probably make sure you hold on to your purses at all time. It's like, what the? She was going, where that? What the?
Their own hotel?
Yeah,
That's bad.
I know that, isn't it? When they tell you at the
that's a
front desk,
Travelocity review waiting to happen. And it ain't good.
yeah.
So yeah, no,
Well,
that's
she said,
terrible.
I was scared the whole time we were there.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun at all. So
Yeah.
okay, scratch New Orleans.
I don't know. She said she didn't want to go, but her friends wanted to go. And what's really funny though, her husband, me, has suggested, even when we go up to Indiana or something, hey, let's run over to New Orleans, stay there for a couple of days, and then go up to Indiana, or, go up to the
Not even
mountain.
close. What are you talking about? It's totally across the
but
country.
but you could go there and then jump on 65, which isn't that far away. And
Okay.
65 takes
I've not I don't drive that way, so if you say so, I'll take your word for
yeah,
it.
65 takes you right into my old hometown.
Okay. Okay.
So I was right. It was
You
out of the way.
okay?
Was it out of the way? Yes. Was it
Yes.
far, far out of the way? Not that far out of the way if you're going that way.
Okay.
Anyway. And if you're not in a
Okay.
hurry to get anywhere, like, we're old now. We're not in a hurry to get anywhere.
I hear you. I hear that. I really do. Yeah. So, okay, cool. Well, good for
That's why
you. I mean,
I got an electric car. I'm not in a hurry to get anywhere. I if I go to Indiana, I stop probably 2 times at a hotel. So there's 2 stops right there.
right.
And then I usually stop and want to get something to eat. And, I
Of
don't
course.
eat and drive. We sit in the car and eat. And, well, we usually go to a
course.
restaurant, but this way we'll just sit in the car, have a nice meal, and
Plug
blow
it in,
windows
let it
down.
recharge. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe
I hear
make
you.
out for a little while. Could be fun.
Hey, could be fun. Could be. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Ah.
We don't do politics on this show, but I just think it's so funny that I'm just going to go right and left. Both parties are crazy. We know that.
Yes.
But for the longest time, electric cars were bad. Why would anyone, if you leaned right, you were like pretty much 80% of you were dead against electric cars.
Right. Correct.
Now all of a sudden it's the opposite. It seems like everybody's mad because of just one particular person.
Well, one particular person. Yeah.
I think my Hyundai is still safe. My electric Hyundai might still be safe.
It should be. It's kind of a stealth electric car.
Yeah, but when I was looking and comparing, I was comparing mine to a Y.
Uh-huh.
That's a,
Model Y.
Tesla
Yes,
Y,
that's
yeah.
a Tesla. Yep.
Great car. Ain't gonna say anything bad about them because they are good cars.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's just so stupid. And I don't know who's buying anything now.
Well, yes, basically, because I mean, nobody's buying anything, period. Cars, groceries, real estate. The economy is so bad.
Water.
People are like, whatever. Yeah, it's terrible. It's just terrible. So you're right. The politics thing is it's too insane. It's too insane. Now, as if that weren't crazy enough, I'm waiting for our buddy Stephen A. Smith to get a little bit more involved. Because you think it's crazy now? Oh, baby. Let me turn it up to 11.
I wonder, I don't know. He might stay halfway good because he just signed a new contract deal.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a lot of zeros. At
And
the end of that contract.
Several commas. Several commas and a lot of zeros. Yes.
Yeah. So I think he'll be happy bellyaching about sports for the next few years.
Well, and if you watched his videos or podcasts or whatever, he doesn't shy away from getting into the political stuff, even though his show is supposed to be about sports.
Yeah.
There are some times where he will rant for the whole show about.
But that's his own podcast. He never does that when he's on ESPN.
Yes. Correct. That's true.
He doesn't want to get called to the boss's office and say, we're taking away 3 of those zeros. What? You heard me. We're taking 3 of those zeros away because the way you were acting on television. Okay.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. I get it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I don't know. I don't. It's just too weird out there. It's too weird. It's right. It's like you're in the middle of the hurricane right now. It's like, how's the weather out there? Call me in an hour if I'm still alive and we'll find out. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I was shocked with a little sports news the other day. We talked about it off air.
What's that?
Your Cavaliers.
Oh, stop.
Don't
get me started.
That was a magical experience if I ever seen one.
Magical. Oh, listen to you, Mr. Orlando Magic suck up. Yes. In Cleveland, of all places. I mean, of all places. It was either going to be Cleveland or Orlando. So in Cleveland, 16-game win streak. I think it was 16 on the line. And they lost to Orlando. I mean, don't get me wrong. Orlando's got some talent. That's a good team. There's nothing wrong with that. But come on, man.
I just wish they could play some more of these Western teams and beat them. And so I could breathe a little bit. It's like,
well, we're coming down to the last month of season here. You're not going to get, it's going to be mostly in conference games here. So yeah, you'll see what happens. But
I've been watching, this because the 6th seed doesn't have to do the play-in.
Right.
So it's a very important seed to win. And there's probably 6 teams that are right there that could take that 6th seed at any moment, including the Warriors who have it. But it is one of the tightest races I have ever seen in my life.
Yes. And congrats, not congrats, but cool for the Warriors that have taken in Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat, and he's like rejuvenated. He's like a brand new man.
They have lost 1 out of 14 since Jimmy has joined the roster. They've had 1 loss. But of course, everybody that they're chasing has only had 1 or 2 losses too. So it's not like they're really gaining a lot of ground. Well, maybe now that they're starting to play each other,
Right.
here in the next
It'll
couple
sort
weeks.
out. It'll sort out a little more. And then you're right. I mean, that's like when Luca got traded to the Lakers. It's like they didn't lose. LeBron and Luca, they didn't lose it until LeBron twisted his ankle and is out now for a couple of days. Actually, they're saying he's just about ready to come back now, which is good. So it's gonna get interest, and it always does. This is when basketball gets interesting. Around about, just in time for March Madness for the college game, and then the playoffs for the NBA. So, and yes, and believe me, we are standing tall and proud here in Gainesville as our Florida Gators are the number one seed in the West in the March Madness tournament. So there you go. It's going to be awesome. It's going
Of
to be
course, there
awesome.
was no doubt about that either. But Purdue, I don't know what seed they are, but they're also in. So
Purdue? Are they
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay. I, they got a basketball team? Okay. Sorry,
Yeah,
just
like I
being
said,
cruel.
though, growing up, I was not a Purdue basketball fan. I
Yeah,
was
I
an
know. And now
IU
you are.
fan.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
weird.
I got a lot of kinfolk there,
Of course. It's
and
all
they
right.
have, they have not really school age kids anymore, but soon they'll have grandkid age, probably going to Purdue. So yeah,
And it's
I
funny
follow it
because I
all.
have I have zero connection to the University of Florida. Zero. I mean, our good friend, our good radio buddy Ted Fitzgeorge was the biggest Gator fan you ever met. Still is, I'm sure. I mean, his ears are probably burning right now as I mention his name and the Gators in the same sentence. Uh, but other than that, no connection to the Gators. But here I am living in Gainesville, and it's something to talk about. It's great.
Wait, but I haven't really followed them, unfortunately. And I mentioned, but I haven't. I don't think I've seen one game, and I've wanted to. The Lady Gators,
Oh
because of
yeah,
course Shaquille's daughter is playing, but
right.
she's only a freshman.
Miara,
Yeah, so
Miara
she's only a
O'Neal.
freshman, so she hasn't been getting a lot of. At least here, she's not getting a lot of
Not a lot of
minutes.
minutes. No, no. I've seen bits and pieces of a couple of games, and I actually saw her play. I mean, I wasn't at the game, but I mean on TV, because pretty much every Gator home game, men and women basketball, is on TV here in town, one way or the other, I think. But anyway, long story short, I've seen her play a few minutes, and I didn't, it was like, okay, she's okay. But yeah,
I,
she's got some growing to do.
Shame on me, but I haven't watched a whole. I have watched a little, but not a whole lot of college women's basketball. And last year I was watching it. Oh, a lot.
Well, you and I everybody was locked into to the Angel Reese, and her name just flew by me. So, whatever. But
Caitlin
yeah,
Clark.
Caitlin Clark, good God. I mean, that was front page news. They were selling out big arenas. They were, whatever. So that was like 2 years ago, because now they've both had a year to play, but in the pros. But yes, so does that mean that the ladies' game was just for that one brief moment where it was like we had a couple of superstars to latch onto, and now we're back to kind of okay?
Well,
Or is there something there? Is there going to be a bigger story there as things go on? I think
speak,
it's gaining. I think it's growing. So
speaking of Reese and Caitlin,
yes,
I don't know if you heard the news yet, but the Chicago Fire, I think it is, that's where Angela Reese is.
Sky, Chicago
Yeah,
Sky.
the Sky. Okay, yeah. The
Yes,
Fire, that's Indiana, right? Yeah, the
I
Indiana.
know if
I
that's
don't know.
fever. That's
Oh
fever.
yeah, Fever. Fire, Fever, it's all the same.
Fire fever. It's all the
But
same thing.
but nonetheless, they are when they play Indiana. Not the whole season, but when they play Indiana, they're going to the big arena
In
for
Chicago,
those
United
games.
Center.
For those
Well,
games.
already, I mean, and that shows that's good. I mean, and because I mean, the Indiana team, Fever, with Caitlin Clark, they've been playing at the same Gainbridge Fieldhouse as the Indiana Pacers are doing, and they're selling that out. So it's
Yeah.
like, are you seeing what's happening here, owners and all of that stuff? Now, have you been following at all the fact that Angel Reese is kind of making noises about we should be getting paid the same as the men?
Yeah, and they've
I'm
been
like,
whining about that though for a long time.
yeah, I'm like, I the best meme or cartoon I saw on Twitter last week was a picture of Angel Reese saying, she WNBA demands equal treatment and finds that now they owe the NBA $400 million.
I will tell you this
That's
though, that
basically
they,
the NBA has kept them afloat for all these years. Now that
but
they're
but
finally starting to take off, good for them. But it was a
but I
long and rocky
now
start.
now I will say this for the ladies, which is good, and they're slowly changing that. Of course, they're doing it in college too, though, so big deal. But they're
What's that?
giving the women more opportunities to make more side money
Oh yeah.
than they were.
Oh yeah, the commercial deals and stuff. Sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's yeah, the college NIL, name, image, likeness. NIL deals in college. They're like the if you're a college star, and I'm talking about men's foot, I mean, guys playing football for the big programs. If you're playing for Ohio State, if you're playing for Michigan, if you're playing for Notre Dame, you have a lot less incentive to go to the NFL now because you're making more money in college than you would with a rookie contract in the NFL, which is hilarious.
But
But
what I don't
that's
like, it's changed the portal. It's like
yeah,
it's like college. You used to go to college to be educated and to play sports.
right.
Now I don't even know if they care about their grades anymore. Now it's like I'll get in the portal and I'll go to this college and
Yeah.
I'll get to make more money down there. You
Yeah.
should just me. This is only me speaking for me.
Okay.
I don't think there should be a portal. I don't think they should be making money in college. Once you go pro, then yes. But I think your education should be more important.
That's very big of you, BJ Odom. But I think that, as we say in the cliche world, I think that ship has sailed.
Oh,
I
it's
think there's, or if you want another cliche, I think there's no putting that genie back in the bottle.
let's just say this: it's now sailed at least 7 miles out where they can gamble and everything else out there.
That's right. International waters. International waters. So yes, that's not going to change anytime soon. I don't think it's going to change, period. I think there could be. I agree with you, by the way. That I think it needs to be more about. I don't know. I'm gonna just. This is me just spitballing because I'm not. I don't know exactly how that works and all. But yes, 90% of these kids, and I'm talking about any sport, whatever, from football to the girls lacrosse team, any of these kids that are playing collegiate sports are not going to the pros and making multi-million-dollar contracts. They're just not. They're going to become accountants and doctors and teachers and all the good things that college students become when they graduate. So, yeah, I guess you just have to, well, hopefully you, and I'm talking to college students, hopefully they have the smarts to know, okay, I'm playing, maybe I'm really good at something. Maybe, but it's like I'm playing ladies volleyball for the University of Cincinnati. There's not a whole lot of professional prospects for me, but okay, I'm going to have fun and maybe I'll make a few dollars doing that. I don't know, but I probably better get an education too. So just
I
thinking
just
out loud.
remember I made the solitaire team one year.
The solitaire team? Is there such a thing as a solitaire team? I should have joined that because that's like that's me in front of the TV every night. Boy, I'm playing solitaire on the iPad while I'm watching TV at the same time.
Oh, goodbye, dear. My wife is heading off to some art class down at the clubhouse.
Every time I talk to you, she's involved with some other class or club or group or something. Is she got something on her schedule every day?
I'll tell you what, she is
I mean, good for her.
She has embraced the retirement life and the retirement community because there's always something going on
Oh, sure.
down at the,
Oh, sure.
down at
At
the
your clubhouse there. Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
I remember when I lived down in Venice. They had a giant clubhouse. They had two clubhouses, and they had stuff going on, multiple things every day. So yeah, it's cool. Not really my
course.
style, but cool.
I don't drink anymore. The only thing I wish our clubhouse had was like, I've been in these adult communities that have like little tiki bars down at the pool. We have a very nice
Right.
pool, have a very nice clubhouse,
Right.
but no little tiki bar at the pool. I would actually spend some time at the pool.
There you
Get
go.
me a little umbrella drink and
There
say,
you go.
don't put much liquor in this anymore. Just most people are going, but make it a little strong. I'd be going, make it as weak as you can, but make it look
Right.
pretty.
Right.
And I'd
Right.
be sitting there just, you know,
I think that's a great idea. I mean, yeah, I've seen that as well. That a little bar next to the pool somewhere as well. It's a great idea. Yeah.
it's like, you go to the villages, and then there was a place here in Orlando too. Well, actually it was in Kissimmee. It was kind of like that we looked at one time, and I go, yeah,
Right.
this is where I want to be. We got a sports bar, we got a tiki bar at the pool, and we got a nice restaurant. We don't got any of that stuff. We have to go to eat.
But you got lots of activities, and your wife is heavily engaged. Yes, I know. I see BJ Odom looking off to the side. I just saw a tail go by in your picture there.
Yeah, my daughter has spring break starting today.
Oh, your dog sitting again?
Yeah, so we now we have 2 dogs in the house. I don't know what it is though. Maybe because I don't understand it. I mean, our little I'm not going to curse on this podcast, but our little poop wad or whatever. I mean, she kind of likes me and kind of hangs out with me.
Right.
But this is my daughter's second dog that she's had.
Yes.
That like wants to hang with me all the time.
Hmm.
So I don't know what it is about her dogs, but her dogs,
Prefers grandpa.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's good. I mean, it's better to be loved than not. So
That's
yeah,
true.
That's true.
Better to be loved than bit.
That's then bit. So what is your daughter vacationing, traveling, whatever?
No, they just like they had fun this weekend.
Okay.
And of course, they're gonna do all the shenanigans for St. Patty's Day.
Of course. Of
So
course.
probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
She'll go
Okay.
home. But she's been with us like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Today's
The dog.
Monday. Yeah.
Today's Monday. Time to
Maybe.
call time for this drizzle drone. Time for this one to go home. Yeah.
I actually think we might go join them tonight for some shenanigans. Okay, I won't be shenanigan. All the rest of them will be shenanigan.
You'll be the designated driver, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, somebody's got to do it, and that's good. You're the guy to do it because you shouldn't be drinking and all of that stuff. So yeah.
Although I want to start drinking now, I got all these surgeries coming up again. Damn.
Gummies. I told you an hour ago. Gummies. Think gummies. So
Maybe that's
cool.
why I forgot that, but maybe because I'm doing gummy. I know, I'm just kidding.
Interesting. Interesting.
I wouldn't do our show and do that. Never.
I'm suspicious of that idea, and I don't know. So, but we'll find out. All right. So, when are you going to Tampa to find out about this particular latest surgical endeavor?
I'm waiting for a call or, go to my portal and says, all right, we have you set up with the surgeon, and this is when you do it. Okay,
And we're not
there.
talking football transfer portal. We're talking
No.
BJ's
Wish I was on
or
a
transplant portal.
Well, I'll put it this way. My surgeon here in Claremont portaled me back to Tampa.
Aha.
They want me to play for the big school.
We're sending you to the major leagues.
I'm an all-star.
When it comes to surgeries, yes, BJ Odom is first ballot Hall of Fame. No doubt. No doubt. Okay, good. Well, that's fine. Okay, great. So anyway, next week, make this happen. I want to talk to this ghostwriter. I want to hear her story and hear what she's working on for you. So
I told her we could talk a little bit about the book, and we could talk a little bit about her latest book.
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't hear before, we're trying to arrange having BJ Odom's ghostwriter on the show with us next week. So that'll be awesome.
Because I want her to get, credit for, collaborating with me. So she won't be a real ghost. And I've told her that I want her name to appear on the book. So is she really a ghostwriter, or is she what?
I don't. It's
Collaborator.
collaborator kind of a thing. Like I said, I've seen books like that before. So like it will be, The Life and Times of BJ Odom by BJ Odom with Christine, whatever Christine,
Yeah.
like you said, what her name is. So her name will be on it. Absolutely. It just depends how the ghost writer works. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they're like ghosts, invisible, and you don't see them. So, but good
Well, I
for her.
already
Yeah,
told her.
that's fine.
I told her I want her to be visible.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
I want to give
because we all
credit
know
where
you can't
credit
write.
is due.
So
I know. I want to give
Yeah.
credit where credit is due.
yeah, people would read a book and go, "Wait a minute, this sentence makes sense. It can't be BJ's work." I'm just saying.
He wasn't doing gummies that day.
All right. That's like 3 gummy references so far. All right, go have another gummy then, doggone it. And I think we're gonna wrap for the week here. So I don't know. This starting later in the afternoon thing is kind of interesting because I felt like I'm more awake and more in tune here. I don't know. We normally record in the morning, Monday morning, but this afternoon we recorded it at like 3:00 on a Monday afternoon, and it kind of works for me. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that. I don't know. We'll see.
And who knows? However long we might have to record one via TGH.
Tampa General Hospital. Yeah.
Good
We might have to.
Good morning, Bill. Don't make me laugh. This hurts like
Wait
hell.
for the morphine to kick in. Yeah. Well, we'll figure that out when the time comes. All right. Till then, everybody, go out, have a great week. We appreciate it. We love you. Remember that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. And, stop by the Facebook page. Just do the search for BJ and Bill podcast, and you'll find us there. Leave the 5-star review. And until then, it's just up to BJ Odom to say,
see ya.
Flip the dial, take a ride back in time when the airways were golden and the DJs shine. 2 mics, 2 guys, and a whole lot of laughs. Living like legends, bringing stories back. No script, no rules, just telling it all.